What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to KvltDeFi. This is a channel where we bring you really the latest and greatest in innovations in tech in decentralized finance, quite specifically on Pulsechain, and that's what we do, really. I hope you all remember that about 10 days ago, when the RH Max Pulsechain conference was on, I was actually on one of the panels. So I was on the Pulsechain panel, and there was another protocol member that was on the Pulsechain panel, and it was the Midgard Block Explorer. It was Mats from the Midgard Block Explorer. And after the conversation that we had, and after where he explained everything, because you all know I am in this for the tech as well as making money. I mean, I really like to showcase teams that sort of exemplify what it means to be true DeFi and sort of really lead the charge in DeFi. And based off of that Pulsechain panel, I just thought, okay, I actually have to reach out to these guys because it looks like they're doing some really cool stuff. And also it's a perfect bonus because they're in the same time zone as me. And that makes it so much easier than me starting these things at midnight, my time, etc., etc. So I reached out to Hans from the Midgard Block Explorer team, and he was kind enough to join me, right? So I'll just bring him up right now, and we'll get this thing going. How are you doing, Hans?
Hey, well, I'm doing great. You know,
good.
I was actually supposed to be participating in that panel.
That's right.
I had a last minute thing I just had to take care of, and Mats was kind enough to step in on my behalf.
Yeah. Well, I think you did very well.
Yeah, it was there we go. Mats' first time on a big stream, I think. We have done a couple of like chat with community stuff, not like major YouTube stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, good. I mean, one of the things for me, especially, and I actually even said this to you in the green room just before we started, but it sort of seems like to me, I mean, and I've been, Hexagon, waiting for Pulsechain for 2 years, Pulsechain launched, all the rest of it. It sort of seems to me that you guys kind of came out of nowhere. You kind of came out of left field. Yeah. And you came out of left field with a functioning Block Explorer. So well done, man. Really, it's I commend you guys for the hard work that you've done. It looks great so far. Tell us a bit about you and Pulsechain. How did you get into the whole thing?
Yeah, so we're a bunch of techies. All of us are in it for the tech, obviously. We've all been in crypto for at least like 4 or 5 years. I came in very early, so it's like I read on Reddit about Bitcoin, where I ran the Bitcoin miner as an exe on my desktop, mining on CPU. I came in very early, and I, like as many others, I shut down my miner. It was worth nothing. I threw away the computer, and all of a sudden I see, okay, Bitcoin's $70. So yeah, it's been a journey. So I've been lurking around in the spaces quietly, working on tech, creating my own bots, my own scripts, indexing stuff. Always been kind of in need of APIs and endpoints that doesn't exist. So I have to create the data myself. Coming from an arbitrage standpoint, where you like buy one thing here and you sell another thing there, and maybe you do triangular arbitrage. I've always needed to create my own indexes because they have to be like super low latency, real time. Yeah. So we took a bunch of that experience into Midgard. We essentially created it for ourselves to use, but we figured, okay, Pulsechain doesn't have a functional block explorer. Like, I was looking up the bridge contract. I wanted to do a page on Midgard to index or sort of like show bridging stats, transactions to and from the bridge, who is trading what. You have a couple of those bots on Twitter. Notifies you whenever people bridge in large amounts. I figured we could do this something the same on Midgard, but it's like I spent 30 minutes just figuring things out. And it was like it was a pain. I got this error, failed, loading, and it was just a pain. There's like 5 different bridge contracts. All of them are deployed by the same address. Which ones do I use? I had no idea. So that in essence captures why it was important for us to launch Midgard as a functioning public block explorer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it really does sound like you build stuff out of necessity, but and I don't know some of Jacob who builds a lot of our stuff. He's done exactly more or less the same thing. I mean, I think anyone that is in the space that really has the skills, and has the skill set to develop things like that for yourself, for your own trading, see how things go, and then if there's an appetite, a larger appetite for it out there, it's worth maybe bringing out to the masses. And yes, I mean, thanks very much for bringing Midgard along, because everyone was, people have been crying and crying for a block explorer for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we sat there quietly for like 2 years, hoping someone else would do it for us. So it's like, because it's one of those things where it requires so much hardware, it requires so much bandwidth, it requires so much continuous effort that it can't just be a deploy and forget kind of solution.
Yeah,
it's always going to be active development. There's always going to be new protocols that launch. We have to adjust how data is viewed or displayed. It's like there's always going to be changes that requires you to do updates. Yeah. So we really hope that someone else would do it before us, like, because it's a lot of work. But after 2 years, we said, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
I sat down for 15 hours, just played around with the idea. Okay, can we make this work? And after 15 hours, we had a prototype for Midgard.
Wow.
It was working with blocks and transactions and addresses and what have you.
So how do you guys divide labor then between you? Consider there's 4 of you.
Well, so primarily we're two people that's actively developing this thing. I focus mainly on the back end, and also since this is for those who are technical, this is React or TypeScript, which sort of it crosses the border between what's back end and what's front end. Yes, it's a front end. Yes, it's run in the front end and the local browser environment, but it's like it also does a bunch of the same things that a backend would do, because we calculate a bunch of stuff and we do as much calculations as we can on the client side to save our own server costs. We push a bunch of the stuff over to the client. So if you're on a slow client, well, Midgard will be slow, but if you're on the fast client, well, then Midgard will be blazing fast, which is what we're aiming for. We want to have speed rather than
No, good. All right. So for anyone that doesn't really understand what a block explorer is, then, so what gap is Midgard trying to fill?
Well, so if you're we obviously have the RPC nodes with the blockchain nodes that everyone's talking about. In Pulsechain, I think we're the chain with the most validators out there.
Yeah, like 45,000 validators or something. Yeah?
Something like that. Yeah, and this is really important to keep the network decentralized. And it's kind of the democracy of the blockchain, right? But these nodes, they don't have everything. They know everything, but they don't know that they know it. It's kind of like this archive where, okay, you have a bunch of files in its cabinet, and they're labeled. It's like this is the one for transactions. This is the one for blocks. This is the one for addresses. But they have no freaking idea where like how many coins does this address hold by itself. You can't query it like give me all the coins that this address holds. It's impossible. And that's why you have to have these indexers or these block explorers to be able to browse, to be able to see, to be able to have, give me all transactions of this wallet, give me all contract interactions for this contract. Without that, you don't have the transparency that's required in crypto. Sorry, I got a little technical there, but
no,
like,
I
hope
it's fine.
The analogy
there's people out there that really want to hear this, and I'm happy that I'm in the chair and I'm learning along with everyone else. It's kind of cool. So, I mean, One thing that was brought up on the panel when I was on with Mads was that the UI had to, it was super important for you to have a really user friendly UI, because obviously Etherscan is not user friendly at all.
No. The Etherscan, while it's the best or the biggest or largest, it's not run by the Ethereum Foundation. It's run by Etherscan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the thing is, it's hard to display all this data. You have to show a lot of tables. You have to show a lot of data points at once. And the simplest way to do it is just show a table, right? What we want to do, and especially Mats, who's a front-end developer, UI designer, his girlfriend, I don't know if I told you this, but his girlfriend is a UX designer.
Okay.
And them two combined, they're like a super team. So for him, it's all about taking things, especially crypto and pulse chain related things, into the 2025s, where you have certain expectations, because the apps we use, they look good. They have polished UI. They look like finished products. And if you want to onboard someone into crypto and you show them something like Block Scouts, Etherscan, hey, here's where you see all your transactions. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet from the 90s, basically. And we want to do something about it. We want to we want to make the Block Explorer sexy, or we want to make it more so to a certain extent that you can. So yeah. Well, Mats is a really, really great dude. He's a fantastic front-end developer.
Yeah, I mean, I was messing around with it earlier on as well today, just having a look around. But it's really useful, right? Because I mean, what was there before, right? So we had Autoscan.
Yep. And we have Block Scouts.
Yeah, Block Scout, yeah. But I heard since you guys have come on the scene, I heard that there's a few other teams that have come out and said, oh yeah, we're also working on the Block Explorer, and we've also been working on the Block Explorer for quite some time.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, well, one of the things that I'm quite fond of saying, especially on my streams, is that if we want Pulse Chain to be as big and successful as we all hope it's going to be, we need, we need to be able to cater for potentially millions of people, millions and millions of people. So if we think about it in terms of that, I mean, how scalable is Midgard for you guys? Because you said it's quite labor intensive at the minute already.
Yeah. So if you look at something like Block Scouts, one of the Block Explorers out there, that I think someone from Tangang deployed or set up, is just a newer version of Block Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
When we set out to build a Block Explorer, we looked at a bunch of different existing explorers, and we thought, okay, how can we make these better? All of them were slow. All of them were clunky. You can mitigate this by having extremely fast hardware and a lot of RAM to do caching, or you can fundamentally build it better. So the blockchain is really fast. Being like the RPC nodes, they're really efficient at fetching data very quickly. But they can only fetch data that you know is there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the index of what you need to find, they can find the content. So we took a hybrid approach where we have some of the data is in a database, and the other part is in like on the blockchain. And by doing that, we minimize the server loads. We minimize the like system requirements for us. We require less storage. It's faster to sync. Page times are much faster. Data just populates a lot faster.
Okay, and
when you compare the two, yeah, we're like orders of magnitude faster, between 10 to 20 times as fast as something like Block Scouts.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, how do you ensure that speed and accuracy then?
Well, the accuracy is due to the decentralization of Pulse Chain and all the nodes out there. And the speed is thanks to caching and efficient server architecture. So it's very scalable. We built this with scaling and speed in mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what if you think about it in terms of sort of a roadmap? Then, I mean, where do you think you are on the Block Explorer roadmap so far? I mean, if we were to say there's, you have 20 different things. I mean, are we places number 1, 2, 3, or are we like 15, 16, 17? I mean, what's the overall sort of scope for this?
So in terms of the roadmap, we have like one big milestone left, and I've said that it's probably going to take another 2 weeks. Pun not intended. And then that was 2 weeks ago. I also said the same thing, and 4 weeks ago I said the exact same thing. So it turns out it just takes a lot more time to do it the way we do it in terms of indexing, where if you look at something like Etherscan, it captures around 70% of the data that's there. It captures 100% of the data, but 30% of the data it doesn't know what it is. And they're fine with it. We are fine with it because we don't know. It's due to unverified source code. It's due to new protocols, non-standard protocols, and a bunch of stuff. So if you've ever seen on a Block Explorer like a token that says unknown in the name, probably due to non-standard code, right? And this is part of the 30% that blocks or something like Etherscan doesn't have. So we're like, we wish to capture this last 30% if possible, which requires a bit more time.
When you say if possible, what is it that's probably hindering you from doing it?
Well, time.
Oh, it's just time.
It's just time. It's just time. So it's something that we can maybe like run again. So with indexing, once it's stored, you can restart the indexing with an updated code, capture stuff you missed first time, which is what we've done so far. So we've run minimal indexes as small as possible. Right now we're running a big like Etherscan type index, which is the slow one we don't like, but we want to run it anyway just to capture more data, and then we can delete the things that we don't need. So we started this from block 0 or block 1 on Ethereum, and now we're at block 18 or 19 million, which is Pulsechain blocks. So that's a big milestone for us to hit the Pulsechain blocks. So in a few days, I'm hoping you'll able to see. So like if you're used to Block Explorer, there's under accounts or addresses, there's typically a token transfers and an internal transactions tab, and you can sort by log, and you can or sort by methods and stuff. This is what we want to achieve. This is the final piece of the puzzle that we're missing. So we have like billions of balances, we have billions of transactions, and we have all the blocks indexed, but we need those internal ones, which is what we're currently indexing.
That's pretty awesome, man.
So so this will be for those who I don't know. We're talking geek speak here. So for those who don't know, an internal transaction would be I take my address, I log on to PulseX, and PulseX routes my order through a bunch of stuff, or I do a DEX aggregator, or I do a staking protocol that reaches out to other contracts. This is what we want to capture: the transactions outwards towards other contracts other than the sender and recipient. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, absolutely it does. I really like the look of that. I mean, I like the way you guys are approaching it, right? Well, it seems, actually, to be perfectly honest, it seems like you're saying, okay, well, look, if we're going to do this, then we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it to a really, really high standard. Like, you want this to be an all-encompassing Block Explorer with everything. I mean, are there any things on Midgard that other Block Explorers don't currently have? Is there anything like any, IP for you guys only?
Well, there's a bunch of stuff. So like the first
Do you want
thing
to
that
give
we
it? Do you want to give us a
launched was
walk around? I mean, you can share a screen if you want to give us a walk around.
Sure, sure. Okay, so this is Midgard, right? For those who have used Block Explorer before, this is very familiar. You can search for tokens, you can search for contracts. We can do something like Pulsex, and we'll show both the tokens and also a bunch of contracts with Pulsex in the name. This is all familiar for those who've used something like Etherscan, Block Scouts, scan.pulsechain.com, all of those. But one of the first things that we did was that we added a AI scanner, and this was our first public Midgard product, where we had a bunch of experience with using AI to vet tokens previously. I personally, I think working with arbitrage trade, working with bots, seeing what's safe to interact with and what's not safe to interact with. I've used AI a bunch, and I've used a bunch of custom scripts and code in order to safely interact with stuff that maybe you shouldn't interact with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we took those experiences and we created the Midgard AI scanner. So if we take something like Pulsex, we go to the Midgard scanner. We'll update the Midgard scanner pretty soon. So you can just click a direct link, and the address will pre-populate here. I've just been too occupied with Midgard to be able to fully integrate this thing. Which time is our biggest constraint here. It's yeah. Once we hit the AI analysis button, it runs a bunch of function calls. It fetches the source code, and it tries to read a bunch of all the ABI reads that you can do in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you an assessment on whether this is something that's safe to interact with, if this is something that's unsafe to interact with. And we intentionally tuned it towards the more pessimistic side. I think it's better to err on the side of caution instead of unintentionally promoting something that can be scary. So it's very strict. The guidelines here for whether something's safe or not is like the margins are slim, which is why you get this medium risk for Pulsex. This doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with Pulsex. It just means that it has some functions, and the thing that it kicks on, or like the thing that it's saying is high risk, is the mint function, which allows the owner of Pulsex to mint as much Pulsex as he wants. Now, this was used for the airdrop. So when the contract was deployed, Richard Hart and his team, they ran this function, minted the supply that was supposed to be there, and then when they were done setting the things they needed to do, they then transferred the ownership back to the zero or to the zero address.
Mm-hmm.
So this function, which is in the Pulsex code, can no longer be run.
Yeah.
But this is something that the AI has no context of. It also gives you like a couple of other findings here. Centralized minting, obviously. Then it also gives you all the contract reads here. It went ahead and read all the different values that are stored within the contract, like the owner is the zero address.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that once we get back to the scanner, we'll try to improve the results and do more scans. And 2 scans are never the same because of the nature of LLMs. They will vary a bit in terms of what they respond. So we have some edge cases here and there that we need to take care of. And it then
That
gives
is
you
extremely useful.
yeah.
That's extremely useful. Not really. There's probably some people watching this that say, "Oh, why is that kind of important?" But look, how many times do you guys get sucked into honeypots, or just literally just enter tokens that you buy and you can't sell them, or is there a way actually to search here by developer? So you can say, okay, well, this wallet address or this deployer address is known for doing scam tokens.
If we look at something like Atropa, so this is not something that I've seen other block explorers do. This is the Atropa token, and all explorers obviously show who's the creator of the contract, at what transaction, what block, what type of token this is or contract this is. If we go to the Atropa deployer, we summarize all the contracts that this address has made.
Nice.
Or deployed. And there you can actually look it up. So if you find a if you find a honeypot on Pulsechain, check if they have deployed other contracts. That you can very easily do just by entering the address of the deployer here, and you'll get this view.
I love the UI, Mads. Well done.
Yeah, well,
it is great.
Yeah, and I know Mots is not satisfied. It's always like I'm Mr. Move Fast and break stuff. I'm a big believer in the 80-20 rule, where I'm more function over form, and I think if you can do 80% the work or achieve 80% the functionality by doing 20% the work, and you have to work the remaining 80% of the time to complete the last 20%. I think for an MVP, you should stick to the 20%, right? Because polishing is what takes a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah.
It's getting those details exactly right. But Mats, he's actually very fast. I'm amazed of how quick he can come up with things. He's just got it in his fingers. He will look at a color, and he will say, "Oh, this needs to be C1B instead of or C1C." And I'm like, "Okay, that's right. It's correct." So actually, we can showcase something that Mots did just this afternoon. This is this page. So this is also something that I've not seen on other block explorers, like the being able to add favorites and sort of personalize it to be your own. I personally like to follow a bunch of addresses. I have a list of addresses of interest that I think it's interesting to follow. And I want to see what they're doing. I want to see which contracts they interact with. I want to know when they sell. I want to know when they buy.
Can you curate this in one list, or can you curate like a few different lists?
We can go ahead and look at the addresses of interest here. So this is the recent change that Mots did. I really like the Louis Vuitton RH-related wallet thingy here. Well, here you can see we've collected all the addresses that are the community believes are related to Richard Hart.
This is again a fantastic tool. How many people cry in all over social media, in telegrams, the whole lot, say, "Oh no, it's not a Richard Hart wallet. It is a Richard Hart wallet." Well, now, and this is a way actually I think that a lot of people can literally curate these massive lists. This is great.
Yeah. And we want to allow people to curate their own lists as well. So we can then start to build sort of a community thing around this. So I've now added all the RH related wallets here. Should we do the sacrifice stats as well?
Sure. Oh, got Godwell in there as well. Is Godwell CZ from Binance? That is the question that has been looming around.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
That'd be interesting, huh?
That would be really cool, huh? If we go back to favorites here, Mods hasn't been able to update this page yet, but what we can do here is we can click the show combined transactions, and then we can just select the addresses that we want to see the transactions for. Since we selected a bunch here, we should be seeing a bunch of transactions here. Probably going to take too long, isn't it?
22 addresses.
Yeah, and they're fetching all the transactions they've ever made, which could be too much.
It could be a bunch.
It could be a bunch. Okay. Let's see. I hate when this happens. Let's just do 3. Yeah. Okay. Let's do a couple more. Yeah. So there are some limitations to this. It's obviously something that we're gonna improve and work on as time passes. But it's like it's interesting to look at his wallets here. Oh, sorry. I'm using this old school Apple Magic trackpad, and it's super sensitive. So I just backed off here. So here, this is interesting. Here's obviously selling something because he approves the spending of DAI. This is probably the this is the PDAI a month ago, and then he did a multi-call using the Pulsechains swap router, and he probably got some PLS for it. Here the address received 1 million PLS. Here's a stake start. So if we look at this
staking the hex, yeah.
Staking the hex. So this address holds no hex. But if we look under DeFi, one stake found is that got 980 million hex. So, or 5555.
That's it. 4-5. Get it out there.
4-5.
Ends in 2040. Wow.
Yeah. Ends in 2040. That's impressive. That's long term.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else can we showcase?
That's cool. So that function actually then, so following people's addresses, because people can curate their own, I'm pretty sure again in Telegram groups with people that are curating lists in order for people to do copy trading. I mean, copy trading is one of the reasons that people actually follow a lot of these big contracts. Even if it's on Pulsechain, actually I think we don't so much. There are the copy trader people out there, but I think in Pulsechain, I think we're more about whale watching, right? Where's all the money going? Because we want to know when's all the money coming in. So again, I think this is perfect conversation starters for Telegram groups. Anyone out there that's in the Telegram group, and you might work together to do trades and all that. This function actually just screams out. That's what you should be using by the look of it.
Yeah. We're constantly expanding this. So since Mots just did the popular addresses of interest here, I'm guessing one of his next moves is going to be updating this view, so it's more on the same line. I know he's very meticulous and very what would I say? He really cares about the holistic view. So everything should feel like the same interface. There should be no transitions, like hard transitions that makes you think that you're interacting with two different applications or two different completely different websites. It should be holistic and sort of feel natural, just like an iOS app, which Apple does a fantastic job at in terms of the applications and all the transitions you have from one page to another, one app to another. They all look like they have unity in their design.
Yeah, exactly. It's seamless.
Yeah, it's seamless.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So what sort of features does Midgard have then to help developers specifically?
Yeah.
Not so much just for the end user. I mean, what does how can maybe it helps audit smart contracts or makes auditing easier?
Yeah, we actually we're looking into building just a creator-focused like AI scanner, which would do sort of like a soft audit, which has a
Hmm.
completely different focus, with just focusing on like bugs in the code, potential issues, best practices, and that's actually a lot easier than to do like we do, which is token analysis. We have to um, look at kind of the same things, but the AI models aren't really trained to do this. While doing something closer to an audit is something that AI is used for every day, and things that AIs are usually trained to do. So yeah, that's something we're looking into. Obviously, we're going to be providing an API to Midgard. That will probably be starting beta testing in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Okay, you guys are pretty quick with
Yeah.
this.
I'm also optimistic, so but I think we'll start beta testing APIs in the next couple of weeks. That's if not the next week, the week after. So and
Do,
also
do
in
you
terms
think
of
from your point of
yeah.
view then, are those goals kind of aggressive on your end, or are you just okay? This is something on the roadmap. We'll get to it and see how we go. I know you said you're
So
optimistic, but
yeah, API has always been on the roadmap, and it's something that a functional block explorer needs to um, provide to people. The average user for the API um, is not the end user, right? Most end users never touch the API of a block explorer at all. This is protocols, this is wallets, this is the infrastructure that's actually making the chain
hmm
viable. So this is your D banks, this is your um, yeah, all kinds of applications that require data that only exists on the block explorer, where they have two options: either we can run our old block explorer, which is hard and expensive, or we can buy API credits. So yeah, there's a bunch of
cool.
protocols or and stuff that if Pulse Chain succeeds to grow, if it um, if it reaches a larger audience with uh, Ethereum protocols starting to bridge over, API access to block explorer data is key to success.
hmm Yeah. So how do you ensure the integrity and the accuracy of all that data then?
Well, the data, as long as there's always going to be mistakes or errors in the data, and it boils down to how bad is the data, right?
Hmm.
You can think of it like this: if we see coin A being sent from this address to this address, but then suddenly coin B or coin A in address B here, it changes the total supply. Somehow the amount of coins inside address B changes. We have to capture that event. We have to figure out exactly how many coins does actually address B hold. And there might be protocols and standards out there that doesn't follow guidelines. They're not standard. It's really hard to capture those events. There are ways we
Hmm.
can mitigate it. There's ways we can ensure that okay, the data we provided now is 100% correct for this specific block. But in terms of getting historical data, there's always going to be challenges, and there's always going to be edge cases that we cannot capture. And the same is true for scan.pulsechain.com. Let's say a scan, same for BSC scan, if Ether scan, and all other block explorers. They all have the same challenges, which is why we decided to go for our indexing backend. We decided to go for something that was open source, that was actively developed. But then we forked it and we made it our own. So whenever they get to discover new tokens, new protocols, new stuff that we don't have, right? We can simply merge that build into ours, and we get the benefits that they provided. But we still got our minimal indexes that doesn't require 32 terabytes of space, right?
Yeah.
That was a mouthful, but yeah.
No, that sounds. I mean, honestly. Oh, are NFTs also covered in the Block Explorer right now?
NFTs are covered,
Yeah.
not right now, but they are covered in our new index.
Okay.
And we got a bunch of NFTs indexed. I'm not sure we're going to put a whole lot of effort into NFTs. I think I want to reach some minimal viable product in terms of NFTs. I want to have it at a point where it functions and it's okay, it's usable. But we, like, in no way are we going to try to make something like OpenSea, right?
Sure.
It's I'm like, my stance on this is, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So as long as it's okay, as long as it serves its purpose, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. One thing, actually, when we were looking at the Atropa token earlier, are there going to be ways, because I didn't see it at the moment, are there going to be ways that you can sort of set up like dashboards based around like development teams?
Ooh, that's a totally new idea that we haven't really discovered.
Because I was thinking about it, because obviously I was looking into it, because obviously we have PulsePot, Pulse Mafia, and a few other things, and I thought it would be really cool to be able to search by development team for all the protocols that are under that team. Because
so
I think
you're thinking in terms of this kind of view, or in terms of this token kind of view.
It could be the tokens. It could literally just be charts. Like, it could be like, a pie chart which shows the amount of traffic that's going through all of the protocols under this one development team. Maybe it shows how many holders, what the holders are also holding, that sort of thing.
Right. That's actually interesting.
It's a good idea, right?
Something I think we should. Yeah. Thanks for the idea. So grouping this by our age, obviously on top here, would make sense.
Yeah.
Grouping like something like the USDL.
USDL loan token. Maybe you could even do the, bridge out into with the Power City. I mean, I don't know how they're all getting along with each other, but just like grouping things together according to maybe the team, maybe the specific dev
or category. That's something we have talked about and that we're gonna introduce. We were talking about introducing sort of this labels or tags where you could say, hey, this is a DeFi protocol, this is a lending protocol, this is a staking protocol.
The Web3 gaming.
Yeah, because that's something that we've been getting a lot of requests from creators out there who want to showcase their tokens. So we have a list of, I think there's around 1,300 tokens here that we've preloaded the names and the token data and also the logos for. And a lot of people or a lot of creators, they want more. Like, hey, can we be like number 1 on your list? Can we be number 10 on your list? Yeah. Hey, could you add this thing? Can you add a link to our Telegram? What about a description so people know what it is? It's like, because it's a great marketing opportunity for creators.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
This is one of our most viewed pages, actually. A lot of, I don't know if it's creators just scrolling through or if it's people that, I want to grab the PulseX contract. I don't know.
I think it's a bit of everyone, to be honest, because I mean I've been messing around with it just the last few days as well,
Yeah.
and it's an easy, great place to go, you know. And but like you say, if there was more information there, like if you build out maybe I don't know what maybe a profile under each token or each team or each whatever you want to how do you want to do it. But yeah, I mean
That's something.
it works. It's a go-to page.
We actually kind of did that for the Hex token.
Mm-hmm.
We played around with the idea of like customizing the page and hex colors, showing the price and some more stats, showing like liquid market cap, showing TVL, which is kind of funny, right? 5.7 billion TVL,
yeah,
and then 356 mil liquid market cap. This is the actual calculated API. Sort of to get more of a personalized feel. We want to do this for a bunch of other tokens as well. I think it generates a revenue potential for us, and it helps us cover the. So it's a win-win by allowing people to purchase upgraded pages with more stats, more customized view. Maybe they can showcase their token a bit more. Maybe they can get a description, get their socials out there. They get a marketing opportunity, and in terms of our side, we get to cover our operating cost, which we're keeping at a very, very low sum right now. But if we're going to scale, we know this will balloon, right? Because we need a bunch of infrastructure to be able to handle the load. So yeah, so this is a win-win. We win by covering our operating costs. The end user gets to use a free product, and the creator gets to showcase their stuff. So here we have a short description, liquidity pools, and also we kind of wanted to integrate the DApp into Midgard, which is something we talked about, allowing other protocols to fully integrate their dApps into Midgard.
So people can stake from within Midgard. People can stake Hex, and people can interact with other dApps through the code directly, or actually through like a user-friendly UI.
Yep. So this will be through a user-friendly UI. You just enter the amount of Hex. You set the number of days.
Awesome.
You hit start stake. So this is going to be
cool.
Super simple. We're obviously also going to open source this code so people can inspect it, see that everything's as the way it should be. Because this is a trust thing, right?
Oh, sure.
You don't want us to point this towards the wrong Hex protocol or contract. Yeah. But like in terms of creators, a lot of creators, they have to cover domain costs, they have to cover hosting, they have to hire web developers. If they have a simple contract where it's easy for us to just, okay, you want to have a stake button here? Well, we'll add a stake button here. We can become their sort of like website if they want.
Yeah.
So I think there's an opportunity there for us to earn a little bit of income and also cover our costs.
Yeah, it's all roads lead to Midgard.
All roads leads to Midgard, which is where the Vikings met before they went to Valhalla.
Yeah, exactly. So how do protocols and dApps actually interact with Midgard? Do they need to reach out to the team, or can they just do it themselves?
Yeah, there was a couple of protocols that have reached out already that want to test API. They've been standing in line for a long time, and we'll be serving those first before we make things public. Once it's public, it's going to be documented on the website with full API documentation and everything you need. So if you want to interact with Midgard, there's I know there's a couple of protocols that are iframing Midgard, so they're putting Midgard on their site, and I think what they're mainly putting is like the token page. Anyone can do that. Anyone can take the Midgard page, put it on their own website inside an iframe, and it should work out of the box. So if we look at
Awesome.
something like PulseX, it does give you this, this pie chart of holders, and
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. So that combined with like a team who might have a bunch of protocols under the belt, that would be kind of cool. Because it kind of shows who's following the development team, not just the actual protocol itself, which I think is
very, very
hugely
well
important as well as we
follows the
continue to
lineup.
grow.
Yeah, and it's along the lines of what we want to achieve. So it's a really good idea. Thank you.
Cool. No worries. I see that you have an advertise here space, and you have the donate button. Tell us more about that. I mean, how can the community itself get behind you and help you guys?
So we already have the first advertiser lined up. It requires us to do some changes to the front end here. So there will be an ad space. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but it will be somewhere in the center here. And it was really important for us that the advertiser, the first advertiser on Midgard, wasn't a rug pull or anything scammy. But was something that the community can stand behind. It's something that it feels kind of scary for us to add the advertisers on the page, because we need to have them, but we really want to have control over who can advertise on Midgard, because we don't want to promote things that we don't necessarily can stand behind. We're really lucky to have really a trusted, solid protocol on Pulsechain that's reached out, and we've agreed a price, and they will help cover the cost of Midgard for.
When are we going to find out who that is? Are you allowed to share the alpha here? Who is that?
Not in liberty to say, I think.
That's okay. I have to ask.
But we do have this advertise on Midgard page here, where we describe different sorts of types of advertisements. We have header advertisements, which is this one. We have the main page advertisement, which is going to be the obviously the home page somewhere here, kind of like what Etherscan does. We go to Etherscan. There's always going to be an ad here, and they bring big revenue from having ads here. They also bring a bit of revenue probably from analytics. We have chosen not to go that route. So yeah, there's probably also going to be an advertisement inside the search bar. So if you have a token, you could have it displayed kind of like on the top as the #1 result, even though it's not related to what the user actually searched for.
Yeah. Are there going to be extra paid functions, maybe for people regarding the data they can grab through the Explorer?
Yep. So allow me to send myself a link, maybe. Let me see. So another thing that we have been working on is a transaction visualizer. One really big moment for us was when the PDI stuff was happening, right? And SAC BTC, BXT, SAC. I totally botched his name, but yeah. But SAC, he said that he's not going to do the Pulsechain PDI thing because we don't have the tools. Our block explorer sucks. You don't have the tools. I don't have the time. Screw it. I'm not going to do it. And that was a really big moment for us because we were in the works of building Midgard. We were building the tools. And we really wanted to say, like, hey, Zach, go here and you can figure it out. The transaction visualizer is kind of like this point-to-point map that shows visually the transactions of a user. So you can think of it like trying to find a screenshot here. Yep. There it is. Okay, so I shared this on Twitter on April 1st. This wasn't an April Fool's joke, but I figured the timing was good. What this is, the dot in the center is the address that we looked up here, the AOA address. And all the bubbles around it is transactions that this user has, or addresses that this user has interacted with. Green bubbles represents the center address reaching out to those addresses, and blue bubbles represents like external addresses reaching incoming. Correct. And what you can do is you can click on these bubbles, and they will load all the transactions that bubble has as well. The size of the bubble represents how many transactions the user has had with that address. So this allows you to visually like triangulate and find patterns on the blockchain. And this is only possible if you have blockchain or block explorer data, because you have to have it indexed. So this is something that we're gonna let people play around with, but we're not entirely sure this is going to be a free feature. And that has to do with this is very resource intensive. This is very, very, very API heavy. And I think the kind of user that wants this is willing to pay $5 a month to use this, or $10 a month to use this.
Yeah.
And I think those using these kinds of tools, like on Ethereum, you have Nansen, which is something similar. I think the user that wants to that can use this tool to profit and find alpha will greatly benefit. Like the $5 or $10 wouldn't matter at all. But it matters a lot to us. It matters nothing to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that'll be the same way with like the copy trading that I can see. It's going to start happening when people curating their own addresses to watch.
Yeah. Copy trading is also something we'll look into if we're going to build out or not. It's something we'll come back to once we're done with the MVP. I don't feel that we're at MVP level just yet. I think that we need a bit more polish. We need a bit more finish, a bit more indexing, obviously. But hopefully we'll be done in the next couple of weeks. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Is there anything that you would like to have in the Block Explorer? I'm talking about the feature now. Anything that you would like to have the Block Explorer do you think might be kind of out of reach at the moment?
Out of reach. There might be something, but I can't really come up with any ideas or things that we were missing from the top of my mind. We're obviously working on a lot of things that aren't public. And if you go to settings on Midgard, one of the things that we recently launched was the ability to change language, which we think is a big thing.
Actually, I saw that come up on, I think you were posting on X about that yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. So now we have Turkish, Spanish, Serbian, Portuguese, Mandarin, Italian, French, English. I'm not entirely sure what this is. But this is Bosnian. So obviously Bosnian, Serbian, and it's Croatia, right? Yep, that's all the same language, I guess. But like we're in terms of the data we're collecting, we have a very. I want to show this. If you go to our privacy page, it says that Midgard Explorer will value your privacy, and we're committed to maintaining a simple and transparent approach to data handling. We collect no personal data, we store no personal data, and track no personal data. And this is very important to the end user and us. We don't want to store personal data. Like crypto is a very privacy-centric, very privacy-focused, anonymity kind of focused community, and we think it's very important that we're transparent about this and that we do not share any or we do not store any analytics or stuff that can be used to identify users. The only thing that we're collecting is we're looking at the number of page views. We're looking at where these pages are loaded from. This is not us loading this or collecting this data. This is Cloudflare. So we're using Cloudflare for DDoS protection, and as part of Cloudflare, you get this this visitor statistics that's very basic. You get to see where people are from, how many pages they view, like how many daily views you have, how many unique views you have, and we're hovering around 1,000 unique visitors per day. And each user spends, roughly 10 to 12 page views per person. This is useful for advertisers, but like we can also see where the users are coming from, and we can see that okay, there's a big community in Germany. Maybe we should cater towards them. We can see that there's actually a quite substantial community in the Balkans. Maybe we should cater to those. There's a community in Italy. There's a community in like Brazil and South America. Maybe we should add Spanish. Maybe we should add Portuguese, right? So we're getting this data from Cloudflare to do targeted translations of our website. And we've been reaching out to community members who are familiar with these languages to just double check that we didn't mess up the translations. Because we think that the blockchain it's international. It should be accessible from anywhere.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, being able to like interact with the block explorer in your native language, we think is something that Pulsechain really needs if we're going to become the new ETH, right?
Yeah. No, I mean that's 100%. I mean, right now, I think Pulsechain right now is still very much. It still very much follows the Richard Hart thing. It's like, oh, it's an American blockchain. You know what I mean? It has that feeling, even though there's so many of us like from all over the place. But exactly, it isn't. And if we want it to get even close to as big as we want it to be, we need a hell of a lot more people, and we need to include other, other continents, right? Big time. We need a lot of those people.
If you look at the number of the number of page views, the United States only serves the United States is only 20% of our traffic.
Yeah,
20% of our visitors are from the United States. A lot of people are from Europe, but a lot of people are also from South America and Asia. So there's we're definitely an international community. I'm part of it. You're part of it. I think US ranks number 1, UK number 2, Germany number 3. So I think those are actually our 3 largest communities.
It's great. It's great that you're tracking that already at this early stage. And it'll be interesting to see how that moves and how that progresses actually. Because effectively, that just means how Pulsechain is growing by itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do people find Midgard? How do people find you? I already have the socials and stuff in the description, but if you want to tell people now.
Yeah. You can reach us at Twitter at @ScanMidgard, or you can head into our Telegram group, which is also ScanMidgard. So t.me/ScanMidgard. Cool.
So if for protocol specifically, if they want to reach out, it's best to reach out through the telegrams and reach out to anyone in the chat. or to reach out to you specifically, or how does that work?
Well, definitely reach out on Telegram or Twitter. That's the best ways to reach us. Like we have people coming in to chat every single day. They're coming with suggestions, questions, like they have ideas they want to share with us. We're really quick to implement some of these. If you have a good idea, maybe it's just a couple of keystrokes for us to add it, right? And we've had a bunch of examples of that. People coming in, we being able to either fix a bug or to add a new feature in a couple of hours. So yeah, definitely come into our Telegram. There's a bunch of known people and unknown people in our group.
Yeah, I think that's very important actually, that users feel like that they have that the team has a hands-on approach, right? You know, make teams that are approachable obviously are fantastic, and it's very easy to build communities when you're at that sort of stage. Anyone that's here, please obviously like, subscribe, do all that sort of good stuff. I need to start bumping up my YouTube subscription numbers, purely because I generally tend to concentrate in a small niche on Pulsechain. I don't really get out to the bigger masses. I could go and talk about every protocol and project that comes around to try and just engage all these communities, but I'm not interested in that. I'm absolutely about quality over quantity. But saying that, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. I absolutely would like to, obviously we're going to keep in touch, I think. I'm more than happy to have you back on again, or some of the other guys from the team at any time, whenever there's something new coming around, right? So we can keep this ball sort of rolling. I personally are going to be engaging quite a lot with this Block Explorer, because even now, I mean, I've not been messing around with it for a few days, but you showed me some stuff today. I think, okay, I know how I can actually include that into my own way of trading and navigating this blockchain. Keep up the good work, brother. I mean, do you have any parting words for the folks?
Well, when I told the team that I were gonna come onto your show, all of them said, "Hey, KvltDeFi is a really good guy. He's a great guy. That's fantastic." So obviously, you've made quite the impression with your views. So kudos to you, man.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm here. I want to see Pulsechain succeed, man. You know, I have heavy bags too, and I'm not immune to red candle, drowsiness and sickness. But at the end of the day, like I tell everyone all the time, it's only a waiting game, right? It's a waiting game. The markets will do their own thing with or without you. So, Jacob has a little sort of team mantra. So look, build in the bear and the market in the bull. So, and right now, I still think that we're very much in a bear market Pulsechain. We're starting to come out of it now. This is the time. If you have a good idea, fucking go and try and build it. Reach out to someone who can help you build it if you can't do it yourself. And you will find out very, very quickly if it's a good or a bad idea, because the community will chew you up if it's a bad idea.
Absolutely. That's great advice. And I think that fits very well into like why we built Midgard, because if you're gonna onboard people from Ethereum, you're gonna send them to somewhere that works, right? You want to send them to somewhere that doesn't just sit there and load and load and load and load and give you a bunch of errors, and they come back to you and say, "Hey, this crap doesn't work," right? So we want to have something that really impresses people. Like, why have I never heard of this before? Like that's the impression we want to make.
And that's it. Hey, that's the impression that you guys are given. It's straight out the bat. Honestly, when I was on the Pulsechain panel with Mats and the other guys, and he was just talking about it, how it's come around. I thought, you know what? Really, I haven't thought about a Block Explorer for a while. Like, it was one of those things. We were screaming about it. It wasn't happening. Everyone was really kind of, to be perfectly honest, waiting for Richard to do it, right? And it wasn't happening. So it was just one of those things that sort of out of my mind. Okay, I don't really. If it happens, it happens. And then lo and behold, Matt was talking about user interface, and I'm very much a UI guy. I like to be able to you know, mess around with things in a fun and quick and easy way. And yeah, you guys hit it out of the park as far as I can see so far. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Everyone, I will catch you all again. I have a bunch of more live streams coming up in the next few days. I'm going to take a couple of days off though, because tomorrow is Monday and I want to get up on some sleep. Okay. So that's it from me. Hey, listen, follow Midgard, scan Midgard all over socials. Follow me, KvltDeFi, KvltDeFi. It's the same on all the socials. If you have any questions for any of the Midgard boys and you're afraid to ask them directly, you can ask me and I'm more than happy to pass on the message. No problem at all. Okay. Well, I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks very much, Hans.